So what we're going to do now in this next demonstration is show you the heart and soul of our invention. How our design differs from the factory design of today. And we're going to reassemble the hub just as we did in the first instance. We're going to, again, we're leaving the seal out for demonstration purposes, otherwise we'd be ruining a seal every time we put it in and out. So we're going to put it together, just like the first time. With the bearing in place, the inner nut with the nubbins, and this is all factory to this point. We haven't altered the design yet. That's put on with the zero type lash. The lock is then put on, and in fact we are going to change this lock to higher grade steel. It'll look the same, but it'll, instead of mild stamp steel, it'll be hard grade steel, because we're going to make this lock do double duty, and we'll get into that in a minute. Again, lining up the spline with the nubbins doesn't quite fit that way, so we're going to fit it that way, and there we go. We've got a nice lock with approximately the right preload. The outer nut. This is where our design starts to change. We don't use this factory outer lock nut anymore. You'll see it has 5 threads in it. And what can happen is the threads can come loose or fail. In fact, here's a nut with the threads all stripped off and gone. And that happens on a lateral type load situation. Not a very positive lock for a device that has 5 ton hanging on it. So what we've done is come up with a new outer nut. Double the threads, and you'll notice it's radically designed differently. Smooth outer circumference that installs much the same way as the factory nut. You'll notice it's bigger. You'll also notice that we don't need these sockets anymore, because it just simply plugs into the unit. No need for special equipment. The ratchet and extension is all the person needs to assemble this. What it also has is a set of ever increasing increment holes in the outside that no matter what position this outside nut is tightened to, one of these holes will align with that inner lock washer that we're redesigning and making out of better steel. So this, what it does is provide a secondary lock. It's a torque lock like factory, as well as a second lock that actually pins it solid in turn to the key on the end of the spindle. So what this does, it does 2 things. The smooth circumference of this outer nut interfaces with our newly designed cap, and this replaces this cap. It's a much more user-friendly cap as well. It's much more oil-friendly, sanitary. It has O-ring seals, but the big thing is we have a device that we call our early warning device, and this is the manual look at it and see part of the invention. And what happens is, when this cap is bolted into place, this measures and reports 2 things. The inner core of our early warning device is a temperature pop-out. We have it designed to pop out and warn a driver or others of a potential heating problem in this hub, which can be associated with bearing wear, lack of lubrication, and the like. So the first thing a driver might see is our orange flag protruding through our early warning device. The next feature it does is it measures and reports oscillation, and being as how these bearings are on a tapered setup, what will happen is the hub will oscillate off center. It'll gyro off of its axis, and what that will do is pop out an early warning device that we've painted red. So this is a simple way for a driver or operator, DOT official, whoever, to do a very easy walk around of the vehicle. And if a driver is stopped at a rest area, heading to the washroom for a break, does a quick walk around his vehicle and sees one or more of these flags protruding, he will know that there is something going wrong in this hub. It is actually the first time in the industry there's been a window to look and see what's going on in here. Until our invention, there has been never any way to physically look in here to see what's wrong. The only way in the past has been to disassemble the unit and inspect that way. So what this does is it provides the window to internal problems. The second feature, the backup, the strong brute force part of this invention is the physical size of our nut. Now, the nut is constructed of a size that is equal to the outer bore of the bearing cone. This is another sample of what's embedded into this hub. It's as you noticed in the first instance, when we simulated the failure, this outer nut simply falls through its cone. There's nothing to keep it in place. What ours does, and this is made out of high-grade 4140 steel, similar to the factory strength of this inner cup. What it provides is a solid, sure way to physically hold the hub in place in a failure. And it's of course not designed to be the fail-safe. What it does is allow the operator time to notice an impending vibration. I mean, and it gives the operator time to bring the vehicle to a safe and quick stop, is what it does. To recap again, our invention. This is the outer redesigned nut that screws on in place of the original factory nut. The second feature of the design of our device is the early warning pop-out device. So in place, it would look like this. It's even a better looking cap than the factory. And when the buttons are not protruding, that means all is well in the hub and bearing assembly. When you see a protrusion of one or more of these buttons, as so, you can suspect that we have something going wrong in that hub. There are basically two types of hubs and spindles in the marketplace, in the industry today. That being a non-drive hub assembly, which is like a trailer or front wheel hub like we have here. And there's also a drive axle assembly, which is designed somewhat differently, but we've come up with a system that does the same accomplishment. And in fact, the same rule applies to any hub and any spindle in the world industry today, whether it be automotive, farm equipment, industrial equipment, planes, trains, and automobiles. It fits every situation. The design is slightly different. The conceptual part of it is identical, no matter what configuration of the hub and wheel assembly you're talking about. It is and we're actually extremely excited about introducing this product into the world marketplace. And we feel very strongly that it will save lives and save damage, property damage, liability. What happens when a set of these comes off in freeway traffic or road conditions can be, and has been very often, absolutely catastrophic. We're going to alter that. We're going to change that with this design.